You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbison, joined with Reed Bacon. We have another amazing podcast. We are breaking down the Florida game from this past year. We are reminiscing, going back, picking out our favorite plays and our favorite play calls. We break them all down, show you the film. It's a great time. But before we get into that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave comments. Absolutely love the comments. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download. It helps our numbers. And follow us on all those listening platforms. Also follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed on Twitter, his is rbacon26. You can follow him there. And then for myself, it is at Kyler Kerbison on all social medias. So check me out. But yeah, let's jump on into this great podcast. All right. Welcome in, everyone. We got a great podcast. I'm going to say that because it's over one of my favorite games this past year. This is another one, part of our recap of the 2022 season. We're diving deep into these games and finding our favorite plays and favorite play calls, and very much enjoyed this one, the Florida game. But first, before we jump into any of that, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Kyler, hello, you beautiful man. Wow, what a night last night. It's not football season. It's not basketball season. It's baseball season. And these guys,
baseball season, baby.
These guys right here are the biggest front-running baseball fans you'll ever meet. Hey,
That is right. You win a regional game, I'm all over that ass.
Yeah, baby, that's so right. You get into postseason play and start winning some games, and we all come out of the woodworks, baby. But I do enjoy watching it. So it's not like I'm forcing myself. I legitimately enjoyed sitting outside last night, having a drink, having a cigar, and watch the game with my dad. And it was awesome. And it was I saw a great tweet. It said, "No, he didn't." And for Zach Denton.
Yeah.
That was a very clever tweet, but man, that was, it's very funny how stuff like this happens in life. But earlier in the game, I don't know, like fourth or fifth inning, maybe second or third or fourth, and we were kind of needing something. And Zach comes up, and I'm like, dude, I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen Zach like take 1 yard or like, come on, Zach, like do something here at the plate. And my dad's like got like kind of defensive, and Maddie's like, no, Zach's had some really nice shots at like some opportune times. It's like, all right, chill out. I don't watch all the games like you do. Anyways, then it comes up and he homers like in the next inning or two early in the game. And it's like, okay, bang, like we needed that. He took a single shot, and then later in the game, and he just shit rips that. And I was like, and we turned the radio on and the volume on the TV off, so we hear everything right before it happens.
Of course, that's the best way to watch the game.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there listening to John, and John's like, he catches it, it's left center, it's going, and like John's like waiting to see if it's gone. And he's like, it's gone. I like jump up, celebrate, and then we watch it. Buddy took it out the park. Not yard. He didn't land it in the stands. He literally took it over the top, and I was like, holy crap. So anyways, and then they finished the game, and it was epic. It was sick. That's why I'm repping today, and we'll watch them tonight at 6:00.
Yeah, I know. Exciting. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, it takes you back to the walk-off Grand Slam a couple years ago in the regionals, and just, all right, like, is this baseball team back? Are we catching that fire at the right time? You know what I mean? Because like, right. I got a buddy who went to South Carolina, and he's been following the baseball team, and they were like number one at one point during the season, and they have just fallen off like crazy and lost almost every game towards the end of the season, every series towards the end of the season, and they're not even ranked now. And it's like you just got to get hot the right time. If we're getting hot going into the College World Series, like,
Yeah.
thank you. Like, oh, this is dangerous. This is Ole Miss from a couple years ago. Like, they weren't the best team, and then they just got hot.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't think it's as much in football, but definitely basketball and baseball. You want to be playing at the right time. So that was exciting to have, some great Saturday night TV to watch, and excited to see it today. So a couple other things. DaJon Terry shows that he's going to Boomer Sooner.
Yeah.
And you know what?
We lose a lot of guys to them.
Yeah, we do. We do. I didn't miss any of them. Like, I didn't miss Wanye.
Mm-mm.
I didn't miss Eric Gray. I don't even know if D. Lawrence even became like a key contributor for them. I'm not sure. But this might be I might be in the minority here, and maybe a little hot take. If he left for NIL, I'm okay with it. Seriously, because if you have to get it when you can get it in life, and if he wasn't going to get it here, because maybe Tennessee didn't have it, or they didn't think he was worthy, or there was other guys they wanted to take care of more, and Boomer Sooner said, "We're going to give you this," I would have done it as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's
because,
like if you're in the same situation, you can't blame them.
Yeah, and it's like he might not. We don't know what his future holds in the NFL. He could go on and be a 5, 6, 7, 8 year pro. He might not even get drafted. Like, I don't know where he projects. You never know with health and play and stuff like that. So, listen, this is just an example. But if Oklahoma's like, we'll give you a couple $100,000 to come play here, I'm seeing Tennessee. I'm outie. I mean, and it's not like I'm not even going to hesitate, because you got to take the opportunities to make money when you can. Now, I don't think Oklahoma's in good shape at all. I don't think they're going to be very good this year. I don't think they're going to do good when they come to the SEC. I don't trust
Venables.
Yeah, and so I don't know. So I mean, good for him, But now when I see it, maybe his family still does have some health issues. I don't know. I never knew.
Yeah.
But is what it is.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you that I don't think Oklahoma is going to be like much of anything coming up. If it is NIL, like, go get your bag while you can. A lot of people, if you're in the same situation, if you're at a job and you have another job that offers you more money, you're going to the other job. Like, it's just how it is. So, I definitely don't blame him. And then, like Oklahoma, you got to watch out for everybody else. Like, you're not top dog over there anymore. I'm sure he is going to help with that, because I think they needed some help on the D line, but he might have had a little more shine if he was here and in the SEC and on a team, maybe, getting those 9, 10, 11 wins a year.
Yeah.
But
and sometimes we talked about with D-line, I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter if you're a starter and you want to play where there's more depth, because you're fresh when you go in there. Do you want to play 55 plays, but half of them you're dog-ass tired, or you want to play 37 and you're pretty much fresh every time? Like,
exactly.
But all that matters is putting good stuff on film.
The offensive linemen don't come out, guys. Like, they're tired as hell.
Yeah. So that was the one thing. The other thing is I wasn't pumped about our Payton Lewis. I felt like we did him some disservice by not breaking down as many plays on his highlight film. I know that we're very excited about him, and we kind of talked about him as a player and as a runner, but I wish we would have talked about more plays. That's just a personal thing, because I always go back and listen to see how we can do better. And I remember I called you, and I was, we kind of talked about a few things. But anyways, hopefully you all enjoyed that pod, but we will make sure to always be breaking down and talk specific plays and things like that. And you know what? Maybe that was just me personally, because you talked about certain plays. It might have just been more personal thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, we can break it down a little bit more, I guess, get a little more in depth into it. But I still think it's like, hey, this is who Payton Lewis is. We're all excited for him. We're all ready for him to get here. And biggest concern was changing from an I formation team to a shotgun. So we covered the bases.
That was yours. I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk Florida game.
Let's do it.
We got to go to this game together last year. It was an awesome day. It was an awesome day, beautiful weather. Got to go down on the field beforehand, and then it was my first time ever going to a game with you and my buddy, one of my best friends, Jack Gillespie. So I had two of my best buds left and right of me, and we're three of the biggest fanatics that you can find. We bleed it, we love it, and so it was awesome to kind of have those hype moments together. But what do you remember about the game?
I remember just spending the whole day together. That was a lot of fun. Actually, like going through the peaks and the valleys of this game together, like the absolutely like jumping up and down, like high fives galore, chest bumps, like hugging each other. And then also like the, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened with like the onside kick recovery and all those things. Like, I mean, the emotions that went through us when like they recovered that onside, they scored a touchdown, then recovered that onside kick, and we're all just looking at each other like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my god. And then the relief, like I think me and you both collapsed on that last play. And like the relief of, okay, we won this game was so big.
The two things I remember rewatching it. Well, I remember a lot of different things, but the two things that really stuck out were the feeling I had when I saw the punt get like him catch it and take off, and I immediately was like, oh my god, he's about to score. And then I was like, no, like you can't advance it. And then in the moment you're like, I know for a fact he can't advance it, but he's still running. You're like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Like, you know, like come back.
Tackle him.
Yeah. But so I remember my feeling in that moment, and I was like, no fucking way. And I remember us leaving and walking, and it was weird because campus was not like, it was a very weird walk back to cars because people were excited and happy, but I think we were all just like exhausted.
Yes.
I felt like it wasn't like after a game where people are yelling and screaming and high five and VOL, let's go Vols go, and starting random chants. It was very much like we're exhausted, we're tired, we're relieved, and it was just kind of quiet walking back. And you and I we were walking back halfway to the car, and we like looked at each other. We're like, I mean, I'm excited, and we're like, do we need to be more excited? It's like, no, like we didn't know how to feel.
So that usually like you're walking down the concourse or like going down the gate 10 or anything like that, and you'll just like random, it's great to be, and it was just walking. Like people were just walking and like talking to each other about it because it was almost a disaster. So it was very much like, I have no idea how to act right now. Like, should I be worried about the defense? Should I be happy for the offense? Like, are we going to be good the rest of the year? Like it was a game that kind of, oh man, that like, I didn't like that because no one thought going into it, Anthony Richardson is a really good quarterback. He can make the throws. And then he made some damn good throws.
He played awesome.
And you're just like, what? Like, what the heck's going on?
Well, he played great against, well, not great, but he got a lot of national media hype after Utah. Then he didn't play well. Then he came in, and I'll always say it was one of the better performances by a quarterback I've seen in person.
Yeah.
You know, we were sitting in the end zone, so when he had that play where he steps up again, rips it. I mean, we had the perfect angle, and I remember looking at you and Jack like, whoa, like this boy, like this is nasty. But yeah, it was just funny. I think also because there was also that lull in like even rewatching it where it was like penalty.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. Like there was 2 or 3, 4 minutes left in the game, and we're trying to kind of ice it. And then the fourth down play call, I liked the play call, but it looked like we patty caked it. Like we ran it like half speed. I
kind of agree. I mean, I like the play call too. I mean, it was pretty much the touchdown from earlier in the game.
Right.
But it very much seemed like it doesn't matter if we get it or not.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's exactly how it felt. And matter of fact, when I started rewatching this early in the week, and then I watched the second and third, fourth quarter, I think on like Thursday or Friday. No, I think it was Thursday, and my dad was sitting outside watching it with me. And he's like, "Oh, this is pretty fun to go back and rewatch it." But I looked at it and I was like, "It just looked like they were like lollygagging." He's like, "Yeah, it looks like they were going like 50%, like just almost like a little practice." And that whole moment, like even the announcers were talking with 4, 5, 6 minutes to go, talking about the schedule. Like this is going to be Florida's second loss. This is going to be UT's undefeated. They're breaking the streak. And then it's like, hold the phone. And I always loved the one thing about Coach Hype and Tim Banks is they're always aggressive. And I felt that Heupel, I think he was doing the smart thing. I just wish that we would have just gotten one more first down, even though technically they're doing the smart thing by burning the clock, making Florida use all their timeouts. Is Florida really going to score onside kick, score again, all that type of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me nervous. Just run the ball, get the first down, and kneel it out. Don't ever give them an opportunity, especially with how high flying we are. So I felt a little. Yeah. That was probably I think I told my dad when we were rewatching. I think that might have been the only time during the only time throughout the entirety of the season that I was maybe a little suspect on his play calling or his decision making. Everything else, I can't remember another time where I was like not pumped with it. But that whole 4 or 5 minute stretch was just weird.
And it was just like you said, the offsides, moving back and forth. It was a weird scenario during a drive, especially for an offense that likes to go fast. It's just like it was odd.
That was during the time when we were in there, and this kind of has something to do with the walking back to the car. We're in there cheering. We're in there like basically celebrating. We're in there doing the Gator Chomp, which was fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
That we started doing that. So it's like we've already had our moment to shine our moment to enjoy the win. And then it's like, well, hold on, folks. Like this thing ain't over yet. And so
what the hell's going on?
What the hell's going on around here?
What the hell's happening?
So anyways, but I just really think that it's so funny too if you look at it, that Pitt game, how they played, and then the Florida game, and they win a close one. Florida, it's technically a close one, but it really wasn't. It shouldn't have been the way that we played that second and third quarter.
Yep.
And then you go on to LSU and you blast them, and you can just see how this team got better and better as the weeks. And that's a cool thing. And
exactly.
You can coach, especially if you're a coach and you can see your team doing that. But as a player, as a fan, it's cool too. So
yeah, just like growth throughout the season.
Yeah.
Hit the crescendo at that Alabama game.
Yeah.
But all right, let's jump into these plays because I know that we always get really excited and take a long time talking about them. So we're already a good 15 minutes in, so I want to jump into them. All right, our favorite plays overall. I think we should go back and forth again. Would you like me to lead off, or would you like to go first?
You can go first. It's your podcast.
So I think this would be a very popular one. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if it was like the most influential or most important play, but man, I freaking loved it. And it is the fourth down stop on the first drive for Florida. 10 minutes left to go in the first quarter, 4th and 2 on our 20-yard line. Florida decides to go for it. This is setting the tone for the game. Hey, we're going for this. We're going to attack to you guys. Like, we're not just going to kick field goals all day. So it was kind of a tone setter. What do? They use their, Heisman quarterback who was getting that kind of talk after the Utah game. And they're like, we're going to put the ball in your hands and we're going to run it. And our defense just bowed their freaking necks, dude. Like, Bryson Eason and Elijah Simmons just making a massive pile in the middle, literally taking 4 offensive linemen with just the 2 of them. Banks comes unblocked. He's no one's touching him. He's there to make a tackle. Roman Harrison meets Pooler with wrong shoulder, which is great. Like, he meets him with his outside shoulder and just shoves it right in his face, then comes off, makes the tackle. And then we got DBs flying in. just swarming. As soon as they notice, hey, this isn't a pass. Hey, this isn't anybody else. It's him. Just swarming to the ball. The amount of energy that had, the tone that set for the game. I mean, I just remember being up in the stands, like nervous as they got closer and closer. And then that stop was just, I mean, everybody freaked out. So that was definitely one of my favorite plays. And I almost it was almost an added benefit that we went to the game, because rewatching, I felt myself like goosebumps when I watched certain plays. I'm like, dude, I remember in the stands when we were watching that and like the flurry that happened. So I have to put that down as one of my favorite. It's a tone setter. It's right at the beginning of the game. It's, I don't give a shit. We are going to stop you. And that's just great football.
I honestly feel like if he is it, because we had a couple fourth down stops. Is that the one where they brought Buddy in motion and he almost did like the read option jet sweep fake? And then I thought if you go back and rewatch it, I felt like if he gave that guy had some nice green grass, but it makes it look better that Anthony Richardson keeps it and we stonewall him. Okay, yeah, I fair. I can feel that one. I don't. It didn't make my probably top 5, but you know me, I love defense. I love a fourth down stop. Yeah. Okay, my favorite play, or one of my favorite plays. So these are not in order, but one of my favorite plays is it's 2nd and 8. It's the second quarter. It's 2 minutes to go. We're on our own 3-yard line.
That's mine. That's my next one.
You and I got so lit. In the stands, and then rewatching, we got lit, and you could not stand that big fat boy 21. You cannot stand him because you're like he's not good. He's just fat and lazy, and all these announcers want to really praise him.
Look how great he is at 420 pounds. He's a fat fuck who can't move. Other people can't move him, and he can't move. Like, he's not a good football player. He's just big as hell.
He played. Listen, he's not as worthless as some of these other big boys we've seen that they try to make a big deal about it, but he's not good.
He's not moving, bro. Every tackle he had, he was like this, and then just reached his arm out and grabbed. Like, that was it.
Well, listen, Kyler, if you do that at the yard line or 1 yard deep, that's still not bad. But yeah, when he got tired, then Cooper Mays could block him one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, but I love this play. And another shout out. This is two game breakdowns in a row that I'm shouting out the refs. But the Pittsburgh game, they let the boys play, and this one, they let the boys play. I was so happy that when Jabari was getting held up, and then Florida slung him. Okay, they didn't blow a whistle on that. I'm fine with that. Like, they didn't throw a flag on Florida, but they didn't get the second retaliation, and they just let the boys kind of do what they wanted to do because Jerome comes in. Go ahead.
What was also before this play is the 3rd down stop that we had on Florida where Jeremy Banks hits Anthony Richardson, and it could be kind of late if you say that. So that play happens, punt, then the very next play, it's Jabari getting thrown. I'm like, bro, they are letting everything fly.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was so happy they didn't have that. I almost put that as one of my favorite plays because
Jeremy Banks.
Because it reminded me of like some Butch Jones BS where they do that play where you guys wouldn't move. And I always thought it was so stupid. Like, it's never going to trick anyone. If I see as defensive coaches, we were never, ever taught to watch your guy. You watch the fucking ball. So if the ball gets snapped, I don't give 2 shits if my guy doesn't move. Like, I'm gone. Like, I'm going.
No, I know.
And so it's just such a stupid play. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Butch did it on if someone jumped off sides. I think Florida literally tried to do it as a play.
Yeah, so it was, hey, we're doing the freeze, whatever. The center is taught if someone gets into the neutral zone, snap the ball. Like, he has free reign to snap it if he feels like, hey, I can get this guy off sides. Every other offensive lineman was, don't move a muscle. I don't care if they come off. Let them knock you over. You don't move a muscle because I do not want there to be any confusion that you made them jump.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. So that was the teaching point. Now, if the center judges wrong and snaps that when he shouldn't, and it's not a penalty, your quarterback might get crushed. So.
And that's what happened. I mean, whether this was one of those type snaps, neutral zone, or whether this was a legit like a trick play or trying to do a little something, I love it because it's Butch Jones 2.0, Billy Napier over there with his 3 buttons and his little buzzed head, and he's got AR running for his life. And AR takes a shot, an absolutely unnecessary shot. There's a sick picture of Jeremy Banks standing over him afterwards. So you're right. So that actually almost was one of my favorite plays. But anyways, back to my first favorite play. You know, Jabari gets stopped. Jerome comes and defends him. There's hands being held up on the neck and people saying like, yo, like, you're not going to toss my buddy. And then Florida wants to act like a bunch of badasses and like, oh, like they get in the face. And I can just picture like when someone was in my face or I was in someone else's face, or you see it and you just know what's being said. And it's always like a version of like, you can't mess with us, or like, you don't want these problems, or like, you don't know who you're messing with, like all on that. So it's like their very next play, instead of shit talking in between it, we're going to drive your ass like 7 yards off the ball and dummy you.
Yeah, we're gonna run inside zone right at you and freaking throw you out the damn club.
Yes.
The combination of Spraggs, Darnell, and Jabari. Jabari ran in there like a freaking rocket. Like I'm going to punish anyone who's in front of me. And he hit, and all 3 of them just push. Got that first down. Like, whoa, dude, me and you.
Oh, we were nuts.
Went nuts. I was like, because we're so pissed the play before, like, hey, can we get a penalty? Can you blow a whistle? Like, what the hell's going on? And then it was, we'll show you who the big dogs are.
Right. It's the ultimate, it's the ultimate mature, true winning thing. Instead of when people want to talk, you know, and you know, in my younger days, when you're, you know, whether we're in college or high school or even a little bit after that, and people are John and you want to like, you know, swing on somebody or do something, it's like, no, pick your time, do it within the confines of the game. This is football. You're going to get to hit someone, and it's the very next play. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like, I'm not saying they did this. They probably didn't. They're probably sucking wind and just taking the play and trying to focus on getting the next play. But it was almost as if in the huddle, they're like, F these guys. It's ISO, blow these motherfuckers off the ball and dump their ass. And
no, that's exactly what happened.
And Jabari's like, I'm going to run it. I don't care where the hole's supposed to be. I'm running it straight up your all's back and your all's ass. And if someone gets in the way, I'm decleating them. And so, I mean, it's 2nd 8, Kyler. We're backed up. And there's the first contact's probably after only a couple of yards or 2. And then it's just drive, let's go. You know what I mean? It's like, it was nasty, bro. Nasty.
No, I know the kind of conversations they have after those kind of things. And it is very much like, I guarantee one of the guys was like, Hendon, let's fucking run the ball. Let's fucking run the ball. Like they were not like, oh yeah, let's do that. They're like, no, run it behind me. Like I am ready to take a dude's freaking head off.
Yeah.
And like those are the kinds of things that can get offensive linemen motivated, because it's like, you don't get the shine of a big play or like anything like that. It's like, oh, you trying to pull some shit right now? Like,
yeah,
get ready then, buddy. Like, oh, we're trying to play it like that? Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Like, that's what gets you fired up as an offensive lineman.
Well, plus you guys don't want to take steps back on pass pro. You want to let the dogs off the leash and let them go.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, I loved it. I love that play. Loved it.
Love that play. It definitely, I mean, I would probably say my favorite if I had to. Like,
it's my favorite's obviously the Ramel catch, but then that's second. That's gonna be, that's gonna be a play I remember for a very long time because of the maturity behind it. Don't try to do something when it's not in between the whistles. Like, do it when you're allowed to do it. That there was so much maturity behind that.
Yeah, I agree. So my last favorite play, since we just had one that was the same. Actually, why don't you go with your second? Because that was your first one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Go with your second one.
Second one is the Ramel catch. It has to be. I'm watching it in person. I see the throw. I see that he's open. I'm like, he ain't gonna get there. Damn, that's overthrown. And
There's no way.
he leaves out and snags it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, I think my reaction was first like, oh, like I went nuts, and then it like set in. And I was just like, did that just happen? And it was so cold. He like the fact that he had, you're born with this much swagger drip.
Yeah.
Like when you catch that and you immediately roll right into the slime and first down.
It works so well.
He made that look as smooth as the catch.
Yeah.
He just lays out, and I'm sitting there thinking, if I make that catch, I'm probably catching, rolling over, and standing up, and just like like just so much emotion and so much excitement, and getting maybe flexing, maybe doing a first down, maybe beating my chest, and it's like Ramel's just like this cold-blooded assassin. He's like, I knew I was going to make a catch. Let me just let you know it's a first, and I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just, and it was in a spot in the game too where
so important.
Florida's up, 14-10, and it's a minute to go in the second quarter. It's actually the same, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the same drive from
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the more important plays and best plays of the game. Just incredible effort by Ramel. Like those are the kind of catches that you want out of your number one wide receiver.
Yeah.
And that is why right there, I thought was a good example of like, I love him. I love him to death. And he was great for us. But Jalen Hyatt will never make a catch like that.
No, yeah.
He will, people, I'm being honest with you. He will never make a catch like that. There will never be a opportunity where it's an overthrown ball and he dives for it. He won't. He will not. I guarantee it. He will go, oh, it was overthrown, and slow down. It's just not who he is. It's just not in his repertoire. Ramel says, F that. I'm going to give up my entire body to try and catch this. I don't care if I tear a labrum, break a sternum. I'm going to catch this ball. And that, you can tell the difference in wide receivers. The ones that have that and the ones that don't.
I think it's really, really cool as well that he was playing because Sed's out.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do. I'm 32 now, so I'm definitely older, but I'm not old. But I still can remember my mind thoughts, or my mind, thought process when you're 16, 17, 18 playing high school ball, and then you're 18, 19, 20 in college, and how difficult it can be when you feel like you're good enough. And as a competitor, you don't want to admit that someone else is better, but you feel good enough that you can be playing. And then it's all that cliche. Well, you never know when it's going to be your turn. Stay ready, buddy. Like, you never know what's going to get something. But that stuff's so true.
It is.
You just get tired of hearing it, though, as a player, because maybe you're a freshman and you hear the coaches say it, and you're not really ready to play. And a sophomore, you get a little PT, but you're really like, okay, junior year, this is my year. And then you go into a junior year, and for whatever reason, it's not happening. And it's like you go to fall camp, you don't win the starting role, so you're going into the season, and that's when you're like, hey, Kyler, stay ready. Hey, Reed, stay ready. Ramel, we're going to need you this year. And you feel like it's coach speak. You feel like they're trying to butter you up, but it's true. And the whole thing about just life and in sports, like, you have to make the most of an opportunity when you get it, and it can be one, it can be two. You never know how quick it's going to come. And in one of the biggest rivalry games of the year at home, and it's packed, and he gets his opportunity, and he absolutely destroys the opportunity. I mean, he clutched up so hard.
He made plays all day. He made plays all day. He made great blocks. He made a great first down when he avoided two guys that we needed bad in one of those first drives.
I almost put that was almost one of my favorite plays, because he fought back to the ball. In person, when we saw the throw, we thought it was going to get jumped.
That was a pick.
Yeah, we thought it was going to get jumped. He fought all the way back to the ball, got it, made a couple guys miss, got up the sideline, and it maybe was like second and Wasn't it like 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 14, maybe?
Yeah, it was like second. I think we got like a penalty before, and it was like 2nd 16 or something.
That's what I thought too. But
Yeah.
And you know what? It set the stage for the rest of the year for that guy going into the Florida or to the Bama game, making one of the biggest catches of the year with he had the first one and then Brew had the second one on the last drive, right?
Yeah. I think Said might have had that.
Did he? I thought it was
remember.
I thought it was Ramel. But anyways,
you might be right though.
I know he cooked people obviously in the Clemson game, but I'm just saying it set the tone that, hey, you want to talk about Brew, Jalen, and Said this Ramel guy is here to
legit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I will say my last favorite play. So I had the first one of the 4th down stop, second one of that run that we talked about. My last favorite play is 8 minutes left in the 4th, 3rd and goal from the 5. Jalen Wright running, getting into the end zone. Our last touchdown puts us up 17. Buddy does the Gator chomp. That was such an incredible feeling. Like rewatching it, just goosebumps all over my body. That was in the end zone that we were sitting in.
Yep.
It was such a hell yeah, F this team. We are so much better than them. And it was actually a great play. Like the guys did a great job on the play. A tight end motion into like a little read option by the quarterback running back to where he can take it if he wants. Tight end leads around. He avoids the in man line of scrimmage. A lot of times when tight ends come, they get the in man. He avoids as an extra blocker on the extra DB out there. The offensive line does a great job. Cooper has aware eyes, sees the linebacker coming on a blitz, helps Spraggs out with just bumping him a little bit. Spraggs dumps him. Other linebacker kind of gets caught up in everything. And Jalen makes a great cut and gets into the end zone. It was so cool. It was a great play. I love that we ran for it on 3rd down. 3rd and 5, we're still running the ball. We're not like other teams are kind of like, oh, we have to pass it. But they're like, no, we can get 5 yards. We're still running the ball. That solidified the win for us. And that Gator chomp started my favorite memory from that game of the entire stadium in the lull. The next lull we had just slowly, just going everybody. And it's such a good feeling to me because I missed out every time in college. I missed out on that feeling. We never beat Florida while I was there. So to experience that again, it's another game I got to go to where we beat Florida after I got done playing. Went in 2016, went last year, and man, like I will never, ever, ever, ever get tired of beating them.
It was cool. I mean, we're right there. It's getting rowdy. You want to punch it in. I love the run play, 3rd and 5. If you don't get it, you're probably now it's 4th and 2, maybe 4th and 3. So I love it. He has shades of the John Kelly with the ha, and I think John like this. I think Jalen did the slime, but it was nasty for sure. So I totally get where that's one of your favorite plays.
Yeah, I thought the Ramel play is definitely one of my favorites, but I did kind of want to go outside the box a little bit. So that's why I threw in that 4th down stop instead of the Ramel catch.
You always want to go outside the box.
Well, just imagine we come on here and we have 2 of the same favorite plays.
Yeah, but I've always said, but if it's your favorite play, it's your favorite play.
It's true. All right, your last favorite play.
Yeah, so my last favorite play, I really thought about doing the Amari Thomas fumble, but even though it was a mammoth, massive play.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
We didn't even notice it happened.
Well, that's what I was going to get into. I remember seeing it, and you and Jack were like clapping or whatever, and I like grabbed both of you. I was like, ball, I think ball came out. And you're like, what?
I just thought it was a tackle for loss.
And I was like, dude, I swear I think I just saw the ball come out. And you're like, no, what? No one in the stands really saw it, especially around us. I don't mean the 2 or 3 people in front and the 2 and 3 people back. I'm saying the whole fucking sections didn't really notice it because people didn't erupt and roar. So it was a great play. I mean, Amari had a great push. Get your big paw in there.
Mm-hmm.
You fly the ball, good things happen. So we're Johnny on the spot. But yeah, it's like it probably was one of the most important plays of the entire game. But it's
Definitely
not one. It's not a favorite that I'm going to really remember. But I would say my last favorite play is the last play of the game. And Tim's like, "We're coming." And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And technically that could be a favorite play call of mine. I didn't make it my favorite play call because I put it as one of my favorite plays. But when we've gone through all that and I'm sitting there nervous, and I even forgot about this until I went back and rewatched it, they completed a pass. And
We're on the 39-yard line.
They completed a pass, and we didn't really get back there to him. It was pretty pitch and catch. It was pretty easy. And then they have another one that they're going that same side, which was a pitch and catch. And we brought a little bit more pressure, and he throws it. And it's a slight bit of an errant throw, and the guy drops it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sitting there rewatching it with my dad. And this game's been over months ago.
You're getting nervous.
And I'm still like, damn, dude, he almost caught that. Like, we would have been – their last play would have legitimately been from the 30, 20-something yard line, and that opens up a whole nother playbook. So, finally, it's 4th down, and you got a quarterback back there who's pretty mobile. And so Tim's like, F it. Like, we're not going to give this time. We're not going to rush 3 and give him time to dance around, get someone behind it. We're coming. And we get there, and they beat their blocks. They put pressure. Kamal goes up and picks it, and it's the game's over. It should have never gotten to that point, but they ended the game. And there's something to say about ending the game and being done and winning.
Yeah. I completely agree, and it's why it's one of my favorite play calls. The leading up to that scenario of the last play, the fact that Florida did whatever they wanted, drove down the field and scored a touchdown, the fact that they got the onside kick, every single bit of momentum is with Florida. They got the onside kick. They then complete passes to get downfield. They are still moving with their offense, and you're like, hey, they actually might be able to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it comes to the last play. Everyone thinks prevent, rush 3, prevent, rush 3. Banks says, F that. I'm dropping my nutsack. I'm rushing 6.
Yep.
I'm dropping 5. I'm doing exactly what I did versus Pitt. It does not matter. I'm coming for you. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're a third-string quarterback or this Heisman hopeful. I'm coming at you. And the twists that gone up front, I thought it was a good idea. Amari Thomas looked like he was trying to play spy. I have no idea why. And then our dude, BY, Byron Young, he makes the play, slaps hands down, dips around that edge, is able to get to Anthony Richardson before he can get rid of that ball. And it's just incredible. Like I wouldn't call that in Madden. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like people wouldn't call that on a video game that doesn't matter. This is this guy's livelihood. This is everyone's whole entire year is this Florida game, and he's like, F that. I'm sending 6. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I have to put it in here, because it's one of the just ballsiest plays I've ever seen.
It still makes me nervous thinking about it. I watched it a couple times. I think it was Trey Flowers, who was the safety on the other side of the hash. So if like you're watching it from TV, he's not this side, he's this side. And he lets a guy break his cushion pretty hard. And he's like even with their guy. And I'm like, bro, if he throws that up and lays it good, we're having Felipe Franks 2.0. I was a little pissed. I said, guys, like,
it's 5 going 4. It was almost man coverage.
Right. And I'm starting to like panic because you throw a rock up and you get a good shot at it, which was what Tim was banking on. Like, I'm not going to let him have a chance to even get rid of this thing and really throw it deep. But I was nervous watching Trey there and a couple of these guys. I was like, get deep as the damn deepest. Like, that's the rule. Get back there. But I was still nervous seeing it, and even thinking about it now, it still makes me nervous sending 6 and dropping 5. What if they run a quick like hook and ladder, or like a new version of a hook and ladder where it's we're coming a slant this way and get everybody flowing, but then you throw it back to this guy coming underneath.
What if he gets outside of the pocket? What if he breaks the pocket and is running on his own, and he has 4 blockers versus 5 defenders? He can make it.
Yeah.
That could have easily happened.
It's a scary spot to be in. I hate being in that spot. And yeah, thank goodness they got there. That's all I can tell you.
Exactly.
I mentioned this when we were talking about BY for, I think, the NFL or the NFL draft or the combine. I went back and watched his highlights. That guy had such a good season, but it was always in the biggest games. I made this exact same example. He was not getting 3 sacks against, UT Martin or like Missouri or Ball State, LSU, Florida, Bama, big games. This guy is putting people on his back and saying, just come on, ride with me.
Yeah.
So
he was stepping up when he needed to.
Yeah.
All right. Give me one of your favorite play calls.
All right. One of my favorite play calls. I got the iPad here. I'm going to it. Give me a second. Okay. Third. Let me make sure this is it. Oh, yeah.
Great podcast here.
This is it. Well, I just want to make sure because I'm going to see the pre-snap, and they're showing it from behind angle. I want the side angle. Give me a second. Okay, so it's 3rd and 5, second quarter, 7 minutes ago, 30-yard line. Florida is still winning, 14-10. We're driving. Okay, I've got this play paused. I hope that you put it on your pause. So it's 3-by-1. You have 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. So on the right side is Ramel way out, and then you have Jacob and Jalen stacked in the middle, kind of the slot. You have Brew way far left, and you have a back in the backfield. So first off, I love the pre-snap. Florida, it looks like they're in man coverage because they got press coverage basically on each side on the outside receivers. Mm-hmm. And you have it's kind of almost like a blanket coverage with these two, safety and corners. And if you got 2 individuals stacked, so you got 2 receivers, one here, there's multiple ways you can play it on defense. You can have a corner, a little shade outside, a little shade inside. It's like if me and you are the corners, it's like Kyler, if he comes in, you got him. If it's like I got 1, you got 2, unless they and we switch. Maybe if they both go deep, stay with number 1. You literally say that right during the plays happening. Mm-hmm. But I love that Heupel does that. And he did it a couple times in this game. Same thing in Pitt. It's 3rd and 5. It's in a spot where you need it. You're going to go to your best play call, some of your best players. Cedric's out on this game. So really for this, you can go to Ramel, Brew. We had we had 1 or 2 third downs where we went to Princeton. I think this was more about the actual play call than the player. Because to me, in my opinion, Jalen had not really established himself yet, receiver that he would become.
Yeah.
Now Coach Heupel can like him because of his speed in that matchup, especially in man. But basically they call it, and they basically run 2 hitches on the inside, but they're levels. So if you see this in Madden or NCAA, sometimes it's called levels. Some people actually call it levels. And what they do is they have Jalen sprint off and really, really fire out, and he kind of bends and takes it a little bit to the outside. He's creating that space. Well, Jacob comes right off and goes ahead and starts taking it in. So therefore, he's going to pull his individual down. If they're in man, it clears space, and if it's zone, it's clearing space for right behind it. And so I just thought it was genius. I thought it was smart. I loved everything about it. Like I said, if it is zone, then they're going to be keen on Jacob. And if they don't key on Jacob, then hit Jacob. It's the easier pass. He's the shorter, shallower route, but he's still going 5 yards to get the first. If they jump him, Jalen's coming right behind it. And that's why Jalen is so much faster, but he can take that, stem it outside, keep the outside guy on his outside hip, puts his foot in the ground, breaks it right in to basically, I mean, depth-wise, it's almost like a deep slant, shallow post, but then he gets pretty aggressive on the cut across to where it's almost like a dig. Now, the route itself wasn't a dig because he came out and kind of banana. I just loved it. I thought they ran it perfect.
Yeah.
Spacing was perfect. And when I say run it perfect, that doesn't mean everyone blocks right and all that. Like the spacing between Jacob and Jalen was run perfectly. Beautiful play. And so many times I've watched football and you see these teams, it's like 3rd and 5. It's like, oh, this is pretty nerve-wracking. We really need to get this. Like, but with Heupel, it's like pitch and catch.
Yeah.
He really takes he's like a he's a stress-free par.
Yes.
We all want birdies, but you hit a good drive, you put it in the middle of the green, you give a good run at it for a birdie, and it's like, dang, I would have liked to have a birdie, but then I just get to go and tap in for par. There's not many better things than a stress-free par as an amateur golfer, and that's what he is on his 3rd down play calls. He's just a stress-free par maker,
and that's golf talk. I actually, it's so funny that you brought up that play, because I necessarily didn't see that. I was trying to imagine it in my head because I watched the game of when you were talking about that and when I saw it. But one of my favorite plays is almost the same as that play.
It ran it. There was
So later on in the game,
let me say you go to. I'm rewatching it. It was more digs. It was like it really is levels. It wasn't slants. Jacob comes up and really hits a speed turn and stays flat right on the line instead of a slant, which I like that because then you're not worried about getting in too much depth.
Yeah.
And people do that sometimes. If someone says go 3 and start climbing, well, by the time he gets across the field, his slant is gone from 3 to 5 to damn 7 or 8, and that gets in throwing lane. So it actually is smarter that he said just break it straight across. Anyways.
Yeah. So mine is 5:21 in the second. It is a 4th and 8 on R30 on going in on the 33-yard line, and we decided to go for it. And this is one of those ones where it's like, damn, 4th and 8, like this is tough. The end result is the play that Jalen Wright misses his block. It's a sack fumble. They recover, and they get the ball back right there. The routes that were run and the play that was set up was perfect because
one of your favorite play calls is strip sack.
Yes, and one of my favorite play calls ended up being strip sack.
I almost said one of my favorite play calls was the quarterback draw that got called back on the touchdown because of the that was genius spot to call that at that time.
I mean, heck, one of my favorite play calls from the Pitt game was the outside zone that got called back on holding by Hendon.
I know.
So on this play, they're the exact same that you just said, 3-by-1. They have a stack to that side. It is Fant and Jalen Hyatt and then Ramel on the outside. So they do almost the exact same thing. They're stacked. Jalen's in front. He takes off like he's running a seam route. Like, hey, I'm taking off. You're going to have to keep up with me.
Right.
They set up in a cover 3. So Jalen takes off. Fant's right behind him. Fant goes for the dig. He goes for the dig, comes across. Linebackers follow him, and safety that was back to make it look like a cover 4 or maybe a cover 2, he comes up because he sees Fant come across. Jalen, it's a zone, so Jalen keeps going. All of a sudden, curl, hitch, right there in the zone between everything. What that does is safety in the middle of the field sees Hyatt do that and sticks his foot in the ground and goes. He starts diving towards Hyatt. Ramel on the outside is running a deep post. And I'm telling you, it's a touchdown if Hendon doesn't get hit. A 4th and 8 touchdown from the 33. If Jalen is able to control that block and not get pushed off, it will be a touchdown. So that was one of the reasons I went back and watched it, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's so much more frustrating that the running back can't block because it was a perfect setup to where if linebackers don't go with the dig and Fant, then if Fant can be open. If they do go, then Jalen is open. If Jalen's not open because the safety comes down, then Ramel is open. Like it was set up perfectly to be a great play where, depending on what the defense does, you're going to have an individual open. And it's not like the quarterback has to look all the way on the left and all the way on the right. It is literally all in front of him. You're looking straight ahead. I see Fant come across my face. I see Jalen hitch right in front of me. And then I see Ramel deep on a post. It's all right in the same. So you have 3 reads and you don't have to turn. So it's a great play call. It's an easy read for the quarterback on a 4th and 8. It's just, you got to get the blocking down.
What was the time? I want to go back and look at this.
It was 5:21 left in the second quarter.
Okay.
But I mean, it was like you started to describe that, and I'm like, this guy's a freaking genius because he has multiple things out of the exact same formation, and it almost looks the same until they get to their cut.
Yeah.
And that's where it changes.
Well, there was one that you were just explaining there that I felt like they did, and they completed it where Princeton went in on an in-breaking route, whether it was dig, slant, whatever, and Jalen came up and did like a deep hitch.
I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that down as one of the plays I liked.
And it was completed. So there's 3 things right there that we're talking about that are all kind of worked off the same type of principle.
Yeah, it's great. There's even other plays that I saw that I remember from later games. I'm like, oh, look at that. Like, I remember that from a later game when we scored a touchdown on that versus LSU. Like, it was like that where I'm like, oh, shit. So it's fun to go back and actually look at it and watch and be like, oh, I see what he's thinking. I see where he's going with this.
You dirty dog, Coach Heupel.
You dirty dog.
You little sexy magician, you.
That's right.
Okay, so this is my second favorite play call.
Yes.
Is that right? Number 2?
Yeah.
So it is the 2-point conversion stop when Florida has just tied it up.
Okay, I like it.
So and I have this one pulled up. So the play right before it, they are they're going for it. They got to score. Let me pause it. So they have 3-by-1, and we show like we're going to play man. So they got their 3. We're 3 over top of them. At the very last second, they bring a guy in motion. We kick out. So Juwan Mitchell starts shading because they see that they're bringing this running back in motion, which I'm going to say this too. Side note, Florida had some really nice play calls in this game.
They did.
I was probably 4 or 5 times. I was like, kudos, great play call. I love the 4th and 2 play call where they took a deep shot. That was awesome.
Almost every catch that Pearsall had, or whatever his name is, I thought were great play calls. Like, they had a motion of him coming in and jetting like he was going to do like a crossing pattern, and then he just went back.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, they had a lot of different good play calls. And this one, I don't mind it because they're bringing the running back in motion, which does get eyes looking, hey, is this going to be a quick throw? We're going to have to get off these blocks, make a tackle. And it also is, which they do here, he kind of stops. So it holds Christian Charles. Then they work another one in, they bring another one in, and then they get a guy to sit. And so we were in zone. And so I don't mind playing zone like that. I felt we were maybe a little deep. And when you're in zone, to play it well, you have to communicate like you're damn astronauts communicating back to home base. I mean, every little detail matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not commuting, saying, hey, coming in, take him, I'm sitting, I got another one coming out. You basically want someone across his face and you're communicating, and then you got another one, like you almost have to buddy system up. And so once you find where they are, and a lot of people play zone and they're like in their zone, like, well, I got my zone. Nobody's scoring here. It's like, yeah, asshole, you got your zone. There's no one within 20 yards of it or 10 yards of it. Like, don't make yourself a wasted player. Find somebody. Now, It wasn't that drastic here. It was just a really good play, good timing. They caught it to where they brought a guy in. Juwan Mitchell sits. I think it's Tank McCall is back, and he has a guy in front of him. So Tamarion's really at a spot where Tamarion probably should see him cross face and buddy up with him, knowing that Christian's behind him on the outside of him. But anyways, they throw it in and they catch it. So it's like, okay, now we're going for twos. They're going to come with a play call. They kind of line up something very similar. It actually is basically the same formation from Florida, except the slot, the third receiver on the left, is now a little bit more inside. This time we show man, and this time it's showing man, press man, and that we're coming, and we're going to bring the blitz with one high safety. It looks like one high safety, but he is also over top of the running back. So you don't know if he's going to drop, and maybe there's a linebacker guarding that running back, or what the rules are there. But I love it because they just gave up something. Florida's going to maybe try to come back with something of that same quick hit if they're finding a zone, whatever. And they come off. I love that they have BY standing. They have Juwan Mitchell and Jeremy Banks standing A gaps. So are they coming? Or are they not coming? I would much rather have that than them just stand at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Then Anthony Richardson's thinking, well, if they do come, they're coming from depth. Okay, that gives me another half second, another second here. And if they stay there and drop, then I kind of know where they are.
You're also confusing offensive lineman blocks too.
Oh, right. Because if
by doing that, it's like, okay, well, if it is a run, it's like, oh, well, I don't have a double team. Everybody's single man. Hey, push this. Like, you're not going to be able to double on anybody. You got to get the linebacker right now. So, like, all of that stuff affects everything.
Right. So, anyways, they bring Jeremy Banks. He comes in. He decides to leave his feet and hurdle like as if he's high hurdles in the Olympics. Juwan sits, which I love, because if you are going to run man, the hardest throws are outside. So if you're going to run man and you do want a safety valve, I love the fact that they drop a backer and basically you're taking away slant. So, you got if they're coming in man and someone steps in, well, hopefully if it's played well, you're going to have the corner right on his hip pocket, and you're going to have Juwan sitting here that can try to jump it, or I should say a linebacker sitting here that can try to jump it, big hit it. If he does catch it, try to knock it away. Now you can have a linebacker, you can have another safety doing it. Mm-hmm. They do have a safety. Trey Flowers is there, and Juwan's both there. Hell, they're almost two stacked because they're right here moving together. You'd like to see a little bit of this or a little bit of this, so there's a different lane. But I just love it. They do run a slant. Christian Charles is hip pocket. He plays it really, really well. He gets a hand in there. So I love it. It's like Tim said, you know what? Okay. I just showed man and it was zone. I tried to bluff you. F it. I ain't bluffing. I'm bringing, it's man blitz. We're going to maybe have one roamer, one, they don't call it a spy, but it's usually like a one robber where he's middle trying to jump stuff. So I loved it. I thought it was a smart play call. It's kind of showing AR what he just saw, and he actually tries to make kind of the same type of throw. But you got guys coming in your face. Damn, Jeremy Banks really did hurdle basically the running back. I love it. I think it's great. Take away those short, easy throws. And great defense by Christian Charles, and Trey and Juwan were both there. So I love it.
And it's like you just said, the easier throws are in the middle. So it's like Jeremy Banks jumping and being 8-9 feet in the air. It's like, oh, yeah, he can't see.
Oh,
he doesn't want to hit Jeremy with the ball. So, it affected him for sure.
I will say this. I don't necessarily love when people leave their feet like this, but it was a hell of a play by Jeremy because Jeremy runs in, leaves his feet, but when the running back hits him, he doesn't get, like, helicoptered or, like, he hits his legs on the ground and still gets a hit on.
Yeah.
So
he's still going.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, when I say those easy throws, besides he's having all this traffic, you really want your quarterback to turn and make a damn 35-yard throw when you're on the 5-yard line because he's trying to throw an out route or a deep corner. I mean, that's a tough throw to make. So
and this was their last 2-point attempt, correct? Changing the game. I mean, imagine if all they needed was a field goal.
Yeah.
After that onside kick. So yes, great play. Let's see. My last favorite play call. It is the Brew touchdown before half.
Okay.
Absolutely loved it. I loved what they did pre-snap. I love what it was post-snap. Pre-snap, they're spread out a little bit more. They motion in the bunch. Hendon is back there by himself. They have two tight ends. it is a formation that you have no idea as a defense what kind of play they're going to run. They have so many different options, especially with both tight ends in there. Shovel passes, quarterback run, any kind of crossing patterns, hitting flats. Like there are so many things you can do out of it, which is one part and why it's so great. Then we get another motion out of Jalen Hyatt coming across as if he's running a sweep, and Hendon takes it, and it's play action. So right off the bat, as a defense, you're thinking, okay, is he going to hand that off and go all the way across the field to the because they're on the short side of the field.
Right.
Is he going to go to that long side of the field? Is Hendon just faking it to him to take it right up the middle on some kind of power or zone? So you're thinking that. So that Jalen Hyatt motion coming across, ball snaps, he fakes it to him. That holds DB on the backside. That just enough holds number 51, their linebacker, to say, wait a second, do I have to head back that way or not? And then he's like, okay, I don't. He didn't hand it off. And then he starts taking off. It gives enough time for Brew to work all the way across the field behind that linebacker and keep going. Hendon does a fantastic job of just a little pump fake, gets that linebacker guessing, and then is able to deliver. But then also there are other routes. You have Fant going on a little out route. He's staying on that line of scrimmage. Then you have Ramel going on another out route, pulling both of their guys away. And my favorite wrinkle into this, which no one noticed and no one is probably going to notice, is Jacob Warren stayed in to block for about 4 seconds.
Oh, and
he then flipped. He stiff-armed his dude, turned around and backed up into the end zone, was wide open. Like if Hendon didn't get it to Brew and Brew wasn't open and didn't make himself up, like he could have hit Jacob right in the middle, in between zones. No one was paying attention to him. So collectively, that entire play and how important it was, first and goal on the 2-yard line, 12 seconds left. You might get two. You might get 2 plays. Let's score now.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now. So absolutely loved it. And then, like we said, they tried to run it again later in the game on that 4th down. It seemed a little bit more lackadaisical. Wasn't quite the same play, but it was close. But man, that and the importance of that, I mean, that whole drive, like we'll just talk about that drive, 99 yards. It starts with them doing some BS. Then we come out, punch them in the mouth on a 2nd and 8. Fant gets a huge first down on the next first down. Then we have that massive Ramel throw. Then we get all the way down there. Hendon has some great runs in there to avoid stuff. Yeah. We get all the way down there. Then this just amazing play call of Brew coming across and a great touchdown with 12 seconds left. Like, I remember us having conversations about the fact that we were hesitant of what Heupel could do at halftimes because the year before. Like, what would you do right before half? And this was one of the most impressive drives I've seen and one of the most impressive drives of the year.
Oh, it was we say it a lot. You know, I say incredible, unbelievable all the time. It was awesome. It was
awesome.
It really was an incredible drive for where they were and to all the big plays that each different person made. You know, I thought Princeton, after that fumble, I thought he came back and had a nice game. And had some really nice catches. The window dressing with the bringing Jalen, because as a linebacker or as a safety, I'm sitting there like, here comes the track star, because if they hit him, and you were talking about the wide side of the field, it's a lot of green grass for a lot of speed.
That's right.
So seeing that as a linebacker, you are thinking, I might be having to leave and go as fast as I can, or a safety. So all that little pre-snap, and I was talking to my dad when we were watching, and I just was cracking up because of this next play that I'm about to talk about, the play calls. And it really is a lot of the stuff that Heupel does is really, really cool, little small details and little small increments, but they make the world of difference. You know, his spacing is one of those things, but those pre-snap, I just feel like as a defensive coordinator, you're preaching all week about the speed and the tempo, these different things, that the very simple things of like trust your eyes, assignment, and alignment, these guys freak out. And so there's there's the play earlier in the game where Bruce just butt naked, wide open, running down, and all that happened is that Jalen was in the slot. Jalen motions out to the outside. The corner shifts out. The safety doesn't bounce over, take Brew, and then Brew's literally just wide open in the slot.
Yeah, just one guy missing an assignment.
That's it. And I'm like, how does that guy not think about that? And it's because he's probably so worried about the speed or being deep as the defense or whatever the case may be. And so it's just little things like that he puts that speed and tempo into it that gets you off thinking about what you need to be thinking about. So anyways, my last play, fourth quarter, 12 minutes ago, 1st and 10. We're on our own, 14-yard line. It looks like maybe 15. It's 21-31, 10-point game, and we run the wheel route to Jacob Warren, and Jacob's back at H-back.
Yeah, I wrote this down.
He's not at tight end. He's back at the H-back position. We look like, we're going to maybe run it here. We got Brew in. Usually Coach Hype likes the guys to be way out, but he brings Brew very close in. Brew's probably 5-6 yards from Jacob and Mincy, so you bring it in, which makes sense when you watch it, because he wants to come in to bring the corner in, or to hold the safety in, because you're looping right back around him. On the other side, he's got a stack. So, this safety's over here like, mother, I got, over here, he's got Ramel and Jalen, and this other backside safety, backside of Jacob's like, okay, I got these two clowns over here. Is it going to come in? Is it going to come out? Is one taking deep? I got to be deep as the deepest. I'm already in the middle of the hash, and these idiots are 15, 20 yards more out there. So you're thinking speed-wise, do I have time to get over there?
Yeah.
And so, he calls it. Florida's in a perfect defense for this because they have two corners closest to the TV. And they got one corner over Brew. They got 4 down linemen. They got the one safety, and they got 3 backers. But one of the backers, I don't know if he's a strong safety that's walked up or just an outside backer, but it looks like he's supposed to be in coverage of Jacob. And they start dropping. I honestly don't know what the hell defense this is. It might have been.
I think it's like assignment. Like, I think it's just one dude doesn't know what he's doing.
No, but see, I don't think so, because this linebacker up here, it looks like the linebackers drop into like a zone. It could have been a cover 3 type deal where you got the one high, the corner that's over Brew is supposed to be deep back. I'm not really sure what defense they're in, but I love the fact that they run it out of, where Jacob's not at the regular tight end up on the line. He's kind of back behind, and you think it's going to be a run play.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they snap it. There's a little play action. He settles, and I've paused it after the play action. You can see where it's already beat. Which I know you probably won't be able to see this because
it's already wide open.
Right. Well, and Brew is already 10 yards in front of him, kind of clearing it out. And so it was just a genius, awesome, smart play call. A wheel route has been around forever. I mean, he ran it a ton this year and last year, where he would run it out of the slot and he would let Jalen either take it all the way, or if they were sitting, and he would tell Jalen or Brew or whoever, run the whip or the wheel route and turn around 15 yards.
Yeah.
But this one, I just love it, man. It's a thing of beauty. Jacob catches it, gets some more yards. Number 22 is actually a pretty darn good player for them at safety. He had a lot of nice open field tackles, so it was a good tackle he made.
Made a long one to Brew and to Jacob. He made good tackles.
Yeah, so I just thought it was a beautiful play call. It's just that little thing. It's just little. Shade Brew in. Do it to the short side of the field. Don't have Jacob in the slot or at tight end. Leave him back at H-back, where we usually run a lot. And if we do pass it to the H-backs, when they're in that H-back, it's usually like a play action, and they're coming here, we're going to dump it, or it's going to be a little play action, out route. They're not thinking a wheel route's about to hit them in the face.
Yeah, I think that was the drive that Jalen Wright ended up scoring when we go up 17.
Yeah, it was.
So just huge time and momentum. Like, that is right after the fumble.
No, it was. I'm looking at this defense, and I'm just appalled. so over here it looks like it's man. The guy over Brew follows Brew in. It
That's
has
why I'm like, I
it has
legit think it's a misassignment.
it has to be man. And the one linebacker, number 51, he's dropped in the middle zone. So maybe, because Jabari's even coming out of the backfield. I don't know, man. I would love for the defense coordinator to tell me what the defense was and who missed their spot.
Yeah. Just call them up. Hey, on this play, I'm a host for a podcast, Tennessee podcast. On this play, what happened to your defense?
Hey, on this play, how'd you guys F it up? All right, what's your last favorite play call?
That was my last favorite. I did 3. So one of my favorite play calls was one of your favorite plays was the last play of the game. So yeah, that was all 3 of mine. But man, what a great game. Getting the opportunity to go watch, that was so much fun. And then, weird ending, but still got the victory. First SEC win of the year, 4-0.
Set the tone,
like gets us ready for the rest of the season. And I'm very excited to do this again in a couple of weeks to the LSU game. Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure all my plays for the LSU game are going to be like the first quarter.
I already have one. Like I haven't rewatched it. I already know what's going to be my favorite play call.
Probably one of my favorite plays is probably going to be the 4th down stop that we had. Probably one of my favorite plays is going to be the kickoff, the pooch kick. Because that was talk about, we've said tone setting a lot this pod. That was a massive tone setter. I really felt like that LSU game was a pretty boring game. It was exciting for the first quarter, and then we kind of blew them out. And it's like,
yeah, I mean the first half, that's where it was.
Yeah, and I'm basically seriously, when we jumped up on them, I was like, this is over, and I started looking for Bama tickets, and that was that funny story about the start of that game. Bama tickets, lower level, $400 or $500, upper deck, 90 to 100, 120. And within the first quarter, those tickets, and I don't know if it was because people started selling them or people started changing the price or Vivid Seats, the corporate office is just like, change the tickets quick, hurry, charge more. But then the upper deck went from like 120 to 350.
That's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. And other people go, oh shit, we're going to be undefeated versus Bama. I'm buying this. Like, people started buying those tickets. The price just bump.
Yeah, so I'm excited to rewatch it because this is South Carolina 2 years ago, Missouri 2 years ago, where first quarter's over with, and I'm like on my phone. I'm watching the game, but I'm not have to be so locked in. So
yeah, I know those are enjoyable.
See you, Studley. Talk to you later,
man. See ya. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave those comments. We love the comments. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download, and follow us on all those listening platforms. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, main account on Twitter, rbacon26, so you can follow him there. And then for myself, it is just at Kyler Curbison on all social medias. So find me there. Really appreciate you guys. The fans are what make this thing keep going. So thank you so much. And as always, go Vols.